Hi everyone, and welcome to this on-demand webinar for the release of DataStore 4.3. I'm Chris Priest, and I'm the product manager for DataStore. I've been working on the product for around 2 decades now, and joined today by Ben.
Hi everyone, my name is Ben Mottram. I'm the Director of Support for GRC, and that includes the DataStore product. And for my sins, I've been working also with DataStore with Chris for about 17 years now.
So before we kick off, I just wanted to remind people about Interact. So Interact is Mitratech's annual client conference exclusively for clients. This year it's been held in New Orleans at the Roosevelt, which is very exciting, between the 2nd and the 5th of October. Everyone who's viewing this webinar will get a 25% off discount by using the code GRC user group, and you can scan the QR code there to get access and buy tickets. So today we're going to talk at a very high level about the new DataStore release, what's in the release. Then Ben will give you a demo of some of those new features in action. We'll talk briefly about the client success portal and the ideas portal for DataStore. We'll also tell you how you can upgrade to the latest version to get the new features. And then we'll be taking a sneak peek at the roadmap to see what's next for DataStore. So the big thrust of this release has been the first release of the web searching client for DataStore. So we've seen a need across our customer base for a simpler method of accessing data within DataStore. So especially with the complex IT needs in downloading sort of Windows desktop applications, and this has become really challenging for a lot of people, especially with hybrid and remote working environments. It also puts barriers in place when trying to share data throughout your organization. And it can be a real challenge for people to, quickly and easily access that data. So the web searching client is meant to address those problems, to make it really super easy to just share data throughout the organization without any sort of IT hurdles, thinking, I can't send it to that person because they haven't got, the clients deployed. It's meant to, just make that whole journey a lot easier. It's also meant to alleviate a lot of problems with sort of, every time you take a DataStore upgrade, you've got to upgrade all of your client PCs because you've got a new Windows app that needs deploying. With the web searching clients, there's none of that. All it is a browser, no client deployed components at all. All you need is a URL and a user in DataStore. So this is the first of several releases, and we'll be releasing this in phases. So this first release is all about the sort of consumption of data. So it's kind of like a read-only view of the searching client, but it should give people everything they need to get that sort of read-only view of the data, across all of the data stored in DataStore. So now I'll hand over to Ben, who will be giving you a product demo of the new web searching client.
Thanks, Chris. Okay, so I've already browsed to the new web client here on my PC. The first thing you're going to notice is that I haven't been prompted with any login boxes. Now that's because I'm coming in as a Windows authenticated user. I'd say most of our clients will use Windows authentication at the moment in the searching client. It works exactly the same way. Whatever you're logged into Windows as is how you'll log into the web browser. Now we do have the option for Forms login, which is the same again as the searching client. So you do have a Forms login page, which I'm going to show here in a screenshot because I haven't got it set up on my environment. This is what it would look like if you're logging into a Forms page. So you can see here we have a username and password, and these are the DataStore username and passwords you'd put in here. Chris, it's probably a good opportunity for you to have a quick talk about the branding as well, because those eagle-eyed viewers will notice that some of the look and feel has changed a little bit with DataStore.
Yeah, so this is actually an initiative across Mitratech products, and DataStore is one of the early adopters of this new kind of like common UI design language across our product base. So if you've got multiple Mitratech products, so you might have a DataStore, you might have a policy hub, when you go into those products in the future, they'll have a common look and theme, and we've changed the sort of the logo for DataStore to align a lot more with like the logos of all the other products. So it's a much more seamless experience, and it makes it obvious that they're from the same provider, and where there's integrations in place, it just makes that user journey a lot easier.
I think it looks sharp and modern as well. I think for your end users, they now start to feel a bit more like we've got a new modern product, there in your environment. So it's great to see.
Definitely.
So back to my live demo system here. The view you first get when you come into the web client is very simple. The whole point of the web client is it should be easy to get to data, not overly complicated. And that's why we've made it so that the first screen you see is the list of templates, but in a slightly different way than we had it with the default view in the searching client. We put them as tiles. So here I've got all the search templates that I have access to. The security is exactly the same as with the searching client, no difference there. If you can access the data in the searching client, you can access the data here. There's no difference to the security at all. So these are the search templates that are available to me. If your users prefer, they can switch back to the list view by clicking this button up at the top. And that gives the list of templates along with the descriptions as configured in the Management Studio application. Let me go in and show you what it looks like when we go into a search template. So I've gone into my client file search template. The first thing you're going to notice is that you don't have that list of fields down the left-hand side as you would have done in the searching client. We now have, I would say it's more like a web, you're used to with a web application where you have more like filters along the top of the screen. So here we have the fields that are available to search on. The actual searching functionality again is exactly the same. We haven't changed any way of doing searches. All the wildcards and everything's all the same. We also have pick listings. So if I want to see all the account numbers that are present, I can click on the button and it brings up all the account numbers. I can use wildcards as well. It only brings back the account numbers that match that wildcard. If I show you on customer number, you can do multiple selections, so I can select all of these and it will then OR them together in a single search. But if I show you, let's bring up all the documents for this account number now, and we can actually bring back the results. Actually, one thing I didn't mention, on the more fields, if you've got a large number of fields for your search template, you can click on more fields and that'll bring up any that don't fit along the top as well. So you can get to all the fields via that more fields button. So my search results have come back for this account. So this is my client file. It should have everything related to that client on this single view. And you can see here that I've got different data types returned. So I've got some PDFs, got some emails, a Word document, letter, and an image. The first release, as Chris mentioned earlier, the first kind of phase of this web client is aimed just at being a read-only system. Now, by read-only, DataStore is key that it's read-only, right? And that you can't change any of the original data. That's absolutely staying the same. But by read-only, I mean, at the moment, you can't modify field values and you can't add or remove notes or annotations. But you can still access that data. So that's important. So someone who's coming in through the web client is still going to be able to see the notes and annotations that have been added onto the documents. So you can see here that someone's added a highlight, added a stamp, and there's a note here. And by hovering over the note, I can see the text that they've added. So that was a PDF. I can click on an email here and show you that. There are some limitations with the viewer being in a browser. but you can still access all the data. So I can still select all the information on the email. If I want to get to something like the attachment, I can't do it direct through here, but that's fine, because as with all the documents I've got on here, I can click download and get that original document down onto my system, okay, and then open the actual original file. So that's, if I can do that for you now here, you can see the actual email there can be displayed. And at the moment, in the first phase, we don't have the export features. That doesn't mean you can't download the data. You can still download one by one. You just can't do the bulk export right now. And later on, Chris is going to come to showing you how you can vote on the features that we should include in the next phase, because we really want to involve you all in deciding what will come next. I can show you here a Word document. Again, I get a nice preview. I can select and copy words out. That's all doable through this viewer. And again, there's an image. The other thing that I really like is this quick, is the display controls we have down here. So you can fit to width, fit to height, just zoom in and out. But it's also really nice to go to this full screen mode where you get the, especially if you're on a laptop and you haven't got a lot of real estate on your browser and you just want to be able to look at the whole document, you can click this button and quickly flip to just reading the document. So what else do we have I want to show you on this page? But I think actually that this is kind of an insight into where we want to go with the web client, is all about integration and making it easy to use and easy to share data. So we've added in the first phase this quick access link, which will allow you to copy a link to the document you've selected, and you can now paste that in Teams, put it in an email. If I've got an email here with a link in, so I can click on the link and it will take me directly to that document. Now, the beauty of this is that it still obeys all the security we've got. So if you give that link to someone and they shouldn't have it, if that email gets forwarded and someone shouldn't have access to the data, they're not going to be able to see the document. So rather than you downloading a file, attaching it to an email, sending it round, you just send the link, and then you're keeping the data secure, keeping it all in DataStore, which is where it should be. And also, when retention gets fired on your system in 7 years' time to delete the data, you know that the data's been deleted and there isn't a copy of it sat in someone's inbox somewhere on their email. So a really, really powerful tool. We did have something a bit like this in the searching client. Some users would have used the custom action email button, and that was good to a point. The problem with that is that it is still a little clunky, as Chris mentioned right at the start, to be able to link to a Windows application. You get kind of like download prompts, and it's not as and also fewer people have the searching client installed on their PC. Anyone has a browser, as long as they're authenticated, they can get access to this data. So really powerful, and I think this is one of the items you can vote for in the list that Chris is going to send out later. And if I get a vote, I'm not sure if Chris will let me, but I definitely will be voting to expand on this one, because the next step in my mind is to be able to, rather than just have a link to this unique document, to allow searching with parameters. So you could easily embed links in other systems that would say, show me all account documents for this customer number. And then you can put those into other systems easily to integrate DataStore. And again, I know that everyone's probably, most of our clients have integrations with other systems with DataStore. That's what DataStore's built for, as being that central repository that you can link to. But this just makes it so much more seamless, having it there in a browser and having it so easy to integrate to.
I think that the other great thing to call out there as well, Ben, is you still get the same audit on the back end as well, so you can actually see who's viewed whatever documents.
Yeah, that's a great point, Chris. Great point. Yeah, anything we can do to keep people inside the system rather than trying to work outside of it is going to be a plus. Is there anything I've missed, Chris? Actually, there was one thing as well I wanted to show. There was a different document type and showing how we've also put in overlays into the system. So here's a different search template I'm going to go into, statement search template. And let's bring back everything for 2016. You can see here that this isn't a PDF. This is an ASCII text cold statement file that's come in. And we've configured a style sheet and overlay to put the graphics for that statement on. This is something that's already possible within the searching client, within DataStore. But this is one thing we felt that was important to bring into the phase one, so that you get the same view and experience of the documents when you're accessing them. Anything else, Chris, that I might have missed?
I think it might be interesting to talk about the search criteria and, you know, some of the cool things you can already do with that some people may not even be aware of.
Yep, certainly. Let me just quickly bring this up. So if I go into my client file, for example, and this is something I was actually on a call with a customer just the other day, and they had no idea you could do this. So it's something you can do in DataStore searching client at the moment, and you can still do it in the web client as well. But on date fields, we have something called keywords. So you can say, and we have a list of them on the help site, but I can put in here this year, and it will bring back everything that's been archived for me this year. So you can see there, let me also filter by customer number. You can see there that I've brought back everything that's been added in this year for all customer numbers. So you can use things like this year. You can say, this was actually this week, so I can say this week. And that's the same information has come back because it was also stored this week. There's things like yesterday, last week, last year, this month, last month, and there's a full list of those on the Success Center, and actually through the help, which is another thing I haven't shown you yet. So the help here is sensitive to where you're at within the application. So I'm currently on the search page. If I click the help icon, we've revamped the help, so it's got a new look and feel, and it's taken me to information about the search criteria page. If I were to go and do the same thing from the search template field, search template page, I get a different help page, just making it a bit easier for your end users to solve problems themselves rather than having to come to you, the admins and the super users, to solve it for them. Okay, I think that might be all of it that I was going to show, Chris. Happy for me to flip back to the presentation?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, so upgrade process. As with any upgrade, there will be some effort from our services team to come in and scope the upgrade for you. Some of you take the advantage of moving to new servers, especially now some of those older Windows operating systems are going out of support, so we can help walk through the process there. If you're ready for an upgrade now, and there will be some lead time and some planning involved, so we suggest you kind of start talking about it sooner rather than later. You can either raise a ticket through the support system, or contact your account manager and we can kick off that process. I mentioned it earlier, actually, the Client Success Portal, but this is, if you haven't been there already, please log into the Client Success Portal. This will give you all the information about what's new in the system, the release information, minimum specs, that kind of stuff for the new version. And knowledge based on just tips and tricks on how to do things that maybe you hadn't done before, like for example, the dates keywords that I just showed you. There's also links on there to the ideas portal. So if you've got some ideas for things that aren't currently available through DSX, especially now we're kind of opening up to the web client, I think this might give people a few more ideas of things we could do. The links to the ideas portal there, where you can register your ideas and vote on other people's ideas as well. So I suggest you go to the Client Success Portal. If you have a login to raise tickets, then you can also use that same login to get to the Success Portal. There is a self sign up on there as well for us to register you in the system if you haven't already got a login. Alternatively, if you've got any problems with that, just email me directly and we can get you sorted. Okay, Chris, over to you for the roadmap preview.
Yeah, so unsurprisingly, what's next on the roadmap is the second release of the web searching client. But what we'd really like to do before telling you what's in this release is for you to tell us what you'd like to see in this release. So we've put together a little survey, so you can pause the video and scan the QR code on the screen there, and that will take you directly to the survey. There were two questions. They both contain the feature list that we're considering for certainly the longer list of items that span multiple releases, but we want to figure out, what's most important to you in this next release. So the first question will allow you to select 5 things as your top 5 important items. The second question is just what is your one most important item? And then optionally, you can enter your email address. If you enter your email address, then we'll keep you updated with the plans as we sort of get that feedback in and plan out that next release. We'll keep you informed as to what's going to be in it, and for the release after that as well. So really excited to get your feedback on that, and please just share it with anyone else you think that might want to input into that process as well.
Right.
Okay, so thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate your time. And yeah, we're really looking forward to the next set of demos on this exciting project.
Thanks very much.